we stand together, we'll never fall.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the All Around Growth Podcast. My name is Rob Kaiser, and I am your host. Today is Tuesday, January 9th. For all of you Patreon subscribers, getting early access to the show. And for those of you who are not Patreon subscribers, you are probably listening to this on Tuesday, January 16th, or at some point in the future. Like I said, this is episode number 2, season 5 of the show, a show that has undergone many changes over the years. And in the last week's episode, the premiere episode of season 5, we took a deep dive into 2 simple topics: simplifying life and finding balance. And one of the ways that we explored that, finding balance and simplifying life, was diving into and reflecting on a heartfelt conversation with Brian from the Lots Project. And I shared with you some thoughts that I had as I recovered from a cold and simply explored the abundance of life and how to navigate all of that. I talked about some goals, updates with regard to Patreon and what you can expect there over the next few weeks and month, the future of the show, and also some discussion on current priorities. We took a brief visit again through the history of the show and discussed potential 2024 changes, all while navigating the uncertainty of everything. So today is not a whole lot different. And today's episode is going to be brief, and we're not really going to dive into a whole lot today. It has been a stressful week over the past week, and it has been a stressful few days. In short, there's been a lot of preparation for the discussion and meeting that we had today with Cody, our tenant farmer, to talk about the upcoming lease for the 2024 season. And it was a discussion about the lease that has not been updated in 5 years. 5 years. The last time we actually reviewed the lease with him, the last time that Dad actually reviewed the lease with him, was in December of 2018. So just over 5 years, we're back at it, revisiting things because, well, I am actively managing York Meadow Farm while running my own business with natural ferments. And this is what a manager does. A manager picks up, I don't want to say picks up the slack, but a manager assists the owner with day-to-day operations. And the fact of the matter is, historically, my father wasn't all that interested in many facets of or certain facets of a farm business, especially one that involved a lease with someone that was considered a friend. But in my opinion, when you are leasing land and engaging in business with someone that's considered a friend, that is all the more reason to have a lease and to talk about a lease, because you don't want misunderstandings about the terms and conditions that you guys have agreed upon verbally to conflict with the friendship and relationship that you have. So land leases for someone that is operating on your land are an important thing to have. And if that someone on your land is a friend or family member, it's even that much more important. So a lot of preparation was done with regard to the lease. And if you guys are listening to this podcast and you want to see a copy of the lease, then I would encourage you to join the Patreon crew and subscribe. I will share a copy of the lease and a copy of the resources that I used to create that lease. And you can gain some insight into how we structure a lease for a tenant farmer in or on a property and in a business that's operating under a cooperative model. So if you want to learn more, then join us over at patreon.com/allaroundgrowth, and you will be able to download a copy of that lease and explore all of the links contained therein on the very back page as references. On top of that, there have been an incredible number of, not an incredible number of retail orders, it's only 2 orders over the past few days. And this week originally was going to be preparation for the next winter farmers market, the indoor winter farmers market at Boyert's Greenhouse and Farm here in Medina. It still is preparation for that market, which is occurring on Saturday the 13th. I'll link to that market and the event in the show notes so that you guys can see and learn a little bit more about the actual markets that we are attending. But the 2 orders that came in over the past few days have been our biggest orders to date in the history of the fermented foods operation. One of the orders came from Krieger's Market, and Krieger's Health Foods Market is a kind of family-owned supermarket in Cuyahoga Falls, Ohio, not too far from Blossom Music Center. And in the past, they've ordered 5 cases. The largest order was 7 cases. And just a few days ago, they submitted an order for 10 cases. And that was followed up by another order from Keller Market and Cafe Bistro, where they ordered 2 cases. So in a matter of days, my market preparations were kind of sidelined by packing and preparation and to fulfill 2 retail orders that came in for 12 cases of fermented foods. Now, these are good problems to have, but the reality is it resulted in a couple of late nights in the kitchen and long hours preparing, packing, labeling, and just assembling the orders for delivery, which will likely take place on Thursday morning. So between the stress of not being able to get a lot of the things done that I wanted to get done over the holidays, preparation for somewhat of an uncomfortable conversation, talking formalities with someone who I don't normally talk formalities with. That's Cody, our tenant farmer. Adding an additional layer of business to what are normally fun, pleasant conversations in passing, talking about business, markets, podcasts, our families, all of that stuff, things that friends talk about. We had to compartmentalize and go from friendship into business mode. And the reality is that's not something I am all that accustomed to doing. So that was new. It was kind of new for both of us, and Mom was certainly there as well. All of the ideas that were presented during the meeting today were topics that I had discussed and reviewed with Mom. because that's what a manager does with a business owner. They propose certain ideas, they discuss them with the owner, the manager executes on the ideas based on the feedback from the owner and adjusts accordingly. That's how businesses operate, or at least should. That is what we did, and that got done. But the whole point of where I'm going with this, late nights, stressful situations, and trying to balance how much product I have, orders that need to be filled, how much product I can sell at market to not leave myself short-handed for any potential orders that may come in next week or until the products that I have that are actively fermenting are ready to be packed, left me in a position where I had a seizure this morning. And it wasn't simply a seizure. It was something a little bit different, maybe a series of seizures, if you will. And the nature of them was different. And if you guys want to engage in a little bit more intimate discussion about the nature of the seizures and what happened, then you guys are most certainly encouraged to join us in the Telegram group at t.me/allaroundgrowth. We've had a lot of dialogue about that this morning together in the group with the wonderful community that's there. I appreciate all of you guys, the feedback, the response from you guys. It's the outpouring of support. It means a lot to me, and to simply say thank you doesn't really feel appropriate. But that's the best I can do, is sincerely say thank you from the bottom of my heart. It means a lot to have people in my life, many of whom I've never actually met in person, but it's a blessing to have people in my life that genuinely care about how I'm doing after a stressful event like this morning, which involved an episode of several seizures. And I say several seizures because, like I said, the nature of this particular seizure or seizures was different than they historically have been. And I'll just leave it at that. Check out the Telegram group for more details and more dialogue on that at t.me/allaroundgrowth. And we'd love to have you be a part of that community of awesome people. So all that said, I've still got a lot of work to do in the kitchen today. I packed a batch of sauerkraut and labeled that this morning prior to our meeting at 10:30. Ate some nice homemade sourdough discard English muffins that Mom made last night, which were delicious. After the meeting, had another couple of cups of coffee, and I am going to return to the kitchen right now and begin packing one more batch for today. I was hoping to get all three of them done, but due to the nature of the events that occurred this morning, the reality is I'm a little bit more tired than I normally would be at the time of this recording, which is 1:30 p.m. on Tuesday, January 9th. So I'm going to pack one more batch and relax for a little bit. After that, decompress, maybe watch a movie tonight, and then go to bed early. Wake up, pack the final batch tomorrow, get that labeled, do the final assembly of the orders, and then spend some time in fellowship with my community tomorrow evening with some friends and get ready for delivery of these orders on Thursday, and then close out the week making preparations for the farmers market at Boyert's on Saturday morning from 9 to 12. So guys, I know that this episode was brief, not really covering a whole lot of anything specifically, but yeah, there's just been a lot of things going on over the past week, a lot of administrative tasks taking place, compounded with a lot of production work that needs to get done in order to fill these orders, and ultimately a lot of preparation work for the upcoming market on Saturday. So that's where we're at here on the homestead at York Meadow Farm, and I look forward to another episode with you next week, where I hope to be able to provide some details on business updates, information about the logo, maybe share with you, or, well, you guys will see it eventually at some point, but Patreon subscribers will see the history and lead up of the animation sequence for the logo, which will be used for future YouTube videos and things like that. TikTok video, I don't know what I'm going to use it for, but it'll most certainly be used on YouTube videos and such like that, along with the grand unveiling of the new logo on social media. So Patreon subscribers will be able to see the draft edits leading up to the final product, and hopefully over the course of the next week or so that will be finalized. And if that's the case, the logo project in its entirety will be complete, and I look forward to discussing that with you at that time. So guys, I hope that you have a great day ahead. I hope that you have a great week ahead, and thank you very much for tuning in to this show. And like I said, if you like the work that we do, you want to participate more and help support the show, check out patreon.com/allaroundgrowth, or simply join the community at t.me/allaroundgrowth. I hope to see you there. Take care. This is Rob Kaiser, and thank you. God bless.
Answers a few. People turn away, and I wonder why. If I can help somebody, then I want to try. People may think that it's odd that I believe in friendship and love, and truth is always the best way to the world that may seem odd. I'm an odd fellow. I'm an odd fellow. Whoa, whoa. I'm an odd fellow. If we stand together, we'll never fall. We can make a difference and answer the call. You know the times are wasting every day, and we can help somebody along the way. People may think that it's odd that I believe